Hey guys, so today I wanted to take a minute and talk about branding. And I remember when I first tried to start a company, it wasn't the one I'm doing now. It was a few years ago. I had this misconception that starting a successful company meant me registering a business with the state, and I'm in Minnesota, so the state of Minnesota, and then creating a logo and maybe getting some business cards. And if I had those three things, I would have a business. And now that I've become more of a student of entrepreneurship, I've learned a lot that actually those three things are probably, you know, one of the least concerning things. I mean, yeah, you need to do them, but they're just not as important as I initially thought they were. So today I wanted to take a minute and talk about brand and logo because I feel like a lot of the entrepreneur sites, they put a lot of value on logo. Everybody needs a logo. It's one of the first things you do when you build your website or your WordPress. And what I've learned this time around is that the logo, this is my opinion, and it's based on what I've learned from designers, that it's a lot easier to create a logo when it's an output of a brand discovery exercise. So if you start with branding, your personal brand or your business brand, then some of those things like a logo very naturally are an output of that exercise. The idea of branding is fairly new to me. I thought that branding is only something that big companies did that had extra money and extra time. But what I've learned kind of going through this branding exercise, it can be really helpful. It can drive your thought process and really help me articulate why I have a business. Why did I start a business? What is my mission? What are my values? How do I want to display myself and come across? How do I want to be known by my clients? And what is the value that I'm going to provide to them? What is my competitive advantage? So I think a branding exercise is really good for everyone starting a business. And it's really going to help build a foundation, and it's going to make it easier. It ties into your logo, it ties into your blog, it ties into your sales material, it ties into your differentiation between market competition. It ties into your value when people ask, why would I hire you? It builds into your relationships with people, and it just builds into you as a person. One of the things that I discovered going through a branding exercise was that one of my main missions was to actually educate people. It's not even to make money. So at the end of the day, if I had $1 million, what would I wake up and do tomorrow? And I think that was a question posed by Chris Do, and I'm going to introduce you to his YouTube channel here in a second. But it made me really realize that I would still want to go out and educate people on cybersecurity and help them, uh, you know, build in defenses to reduce their risk. So I would highly encourage you to do this. Instead of starting with the logo, start with the branding. And one of the best resources that I found on YouTube is a channel called Flux. It's an amazing channel. He's a designer. Right here, he's got some design case studies. I would highly recommend that you check those out. One of my favorite is this B2B branding and website case study. And he's got these case studies on there. And he literally opens up his desk and shows you his methodology on how he handles a client coming to him and asking them for him to help them with their branding. And it really will open up your mind, to invest 10, 15 minutes to get an expert's insight is very beneficial. The other channel I would recommend is The Futur. This is Chris Do. He's an amazing designer and entrepreneur. He walks through a lot of his design processes and how he helps other people. Things as simple as, I remember asking the question, like, what font should I use? Can I use multiple fonts? How many colors? And as an entrepreneur, I tend to find like I've got 10 questions for every answer that I get discovered, and it's always leading to more questions. And people like this that have gone before us and asked these questions and help equip us with answers are very, very helpful. So check out The Futur, Chris Do, all the people that he's helping. So through that, I was able to build my branding. And I just created a document called Brand Brief. And I've referred to this thing so many times. It contains my target market, my competitive advantages. And then it starts to get into your value proposition and who your ideal client is. And you develop what they call a avatar, which was kind of a weird, confusing term for me. Not coming from marketing or design work, but you basically tie an image to this ideal client in your fictional space, and you start tying attributes to what are their problems, what are their pains, what do they want, what are they striving for, and that will also help you direct your marketing material. So your logo, again, is an extension of your brand, and it's an extension of your mission. So for me, here's my website, Asher Security. I couldn't come up with a better name. I had several, and I would run them by people, and they would just shoot them down. So finally, I risked, what does the military call it, like death by over examination, and I was just like, fine, I'm just going to name it after myself, and I can rename it later. But the logo itself was an extension of my brand. This kind of represents an A for Asher for my company name. And one of the images here that influenced me was Magpul. This is their image. Excuse me. And I've always felt really connected to the Magpul image. I don't even know what it is or how they developed it, but it's simple and it speaks to me. Matter of fact, I got the Magpul sweater on right now, and unfortunately, this does not have their logo on it, ironically, but I really like their logo. I mean, it is. I would put that sticker on my car. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that is a really cool logo. So I was influenced by that. And then when we talk about information security, it really breaks down into three pieces: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And so these three represent those three pillars of security. And then we highlighted one because I don't know how you feel. I'd love to hear your comments below, but being in information security, we tend to focus on confidentiality more than availability or integrity. Yeah, those things are important, and yeah, we can touch on them. But confidentiality for me has tended to be the majority of the work that I focused on in my career. So I weighted one of these with color. And then this watchtower represents visibility, which I feel is one of the most critical aspects to build into your security program that actually fuels the foundation of the other areas. So sorry. So that represents visibility. So all that said, I could have just paid somebody on, a website, a platform to design me a quick logo. And maybe none of my customers ever care about my logo. Maybe they're not attracted to it. They never ask any questions, and it may not be responsible for any lead generation at all. But to me, I feel like there was a diligent process that went through in the creation of this, and it means something to me, and it represents something. And it was easier to design and easier to become comfortable with because I took the time to go through a brand exercise. So I hope you find that helpful. Spend a few minutes on the Flux web YouTube channel and The Futur, and start thinking about what your mission is as a person. Is your business more than just making money? And what value are you ultimately going to provide for your clients? So I wish you luck. If you can, let me know, how you're going to go about designing your logo, what's going to go into it. All right. Love to hear from you. Take care.